So I just had something rather strange happen. I suppose uh, it didn't just happen, but the culmination of some tension and events just happened. I'm a little shaky actually. So let me take you back a few days, maybe a week or so ago. My car was parked across the street, and I saw that somebody left me like some leaves or a flower or something, put it on my windshield, and I was like, oh, somebody, maybe a friend came by because we've got some friends that are in the neighborhood and sometimes they'll leave things on our doorstep, and I didn't get a chance to go to grab it because I'm not driving much now in my stay-at-home life, and so I and then a couple of days later I said, oh, there's more flowers or leaves, looks like green leaves on my windshield, so I went to go retrieve just in case there's a note from a friend who's explaining to me, and then as I got closer to my car, I'm like, oh, these are those green dog poop bags. Someone has been leaving dog poop on my windshield. Like twice, in a couple of days. Like it clearly intentional. Like not there's trash cans around. I'm like, "What?" Maybe because they saw my license plate, it says huggable, and maybe they just, were in a bad mood and wanted to dampen someone who had rose-colored glasses. I'm like, "Whatever." So, a week or two goes by, and yesterday I go out to my car, parked in a totally different place, and there's more dog shit on my windshield. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, what? Literally, I'm like, I'm trying to think of a scenario where this would make sense. And and then the neighbors across the way come outside. They're like, dude, is that dog shit? Like, we saw the guy doing it. And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, we've seen him fling shit into your yard. And we were like, did that just happen? And so we start talking. I'm like, what? And and they described the guy, and it's like, oh, I know who this is. He's got pink hair. When I first moved in, we touched base and talked. He's a burner. I guess we've met in the past. There was some joking about us having pink hair, but I see him walking his dog all the time, and so I'm like, I'm trying to figure out what possible, like, maybe, I mean, I think he's in Miscreants, which is a local camp, which is kind of like snarky aggressive. They're related to like the Backcountry vibe, and I think they've done things together with Backcountry. And I don't know, maybe there's some, because I used to be part of Backcountry, co-founder of Backcountry. Maybe there's like some prank aspect of it. Maybe it's, in fact, the neighbors like, we thought maybe it's just some like, burner feud thing. I'm like, maybe this is like something about, I don't know. Maybe he thinks it's funny, and so I'm really, I know who this person is, so I'm looking forward to saying, "Hey, what's up?" next time he walks by. So a couple, like this morning, almost as 10 minutes ago, I see him walking by, and so I come outside and I start walking towards him. I'm like, and he sees me and puts his head, keeps walking, and I intercept him. I'm like, "Hey, excuse me, hey," and he's like, what? And he doesn't stop. I'm like, hey, can we talk for a second? Like, do you have a problem with it? He's like, yeah. I'm like, what's your deal? He goes, you're egotistical and racist, son of a bitch. And I'm like, what? I'm literally like, what? I go, can you explain to me? No. I go, can you tell me what I can be doing better? And he's like, no, get away from me. He's like, get away from me. I'm asking you. You're approaching me on the sidewalk. And I'm asking you to leave me alone. And I go, well, will you leave me alone? And he goes, what have I done? I go, you've been throwing poo into my yard and putting it on my car. And he goes, I can do that. And he walks away. I'm like, what? It's unsettling. I now have all these questions. Like, what have I done that has given him the impression that I am racist? And if I am racist, and if you accuse someone of being racist, and they say, "What can I do better?" Wouldn't the response be, "Well, bro, you kind of stepped out of line here and here," or maybe it's a flipperoo thing where he is racist, and by me publicly working on my awareness of our racist system, he thinks that I am, my anti-racism is a form of racism or something. I don't know. I mean, he's a neighbor. I'm going to see him again. Maybe I'll just continually bring him flowers, and I don't know. I'm sure we have friends in common, and if you see this and you know the pink-haired guy who lives in Normal Heights who walks his dog, and please tell him that anytime, with moderator or otherwise, I will sit and listen to whatever he has to tell me. You know, I would love an opportunity to explain myself, but if that is too uncomfortable and you feel that's too threatening to listen to my side of the story, I will simply listen to yours. How weird, right? Now, joke's on him because I actually have a poo fetish. Now I've got tons of extra shit. Score! Well, yeah. Um, if anybody is looking for extra dog poo, I got a source. So I'm gonna shake off this. Honestly, so I walk across the street and I'm having this conversation. I come back inside and I'm kind of shaking. Like, I don't like confrontation, but I also don't like the feeling of a unsettling. If I can fix it, if I can, part of being a man is someone has beef with me, then I want to talk about it. So, like, I'm not going to put my head down and pretend that someone's not disrespecting me and accusing me of being a racist and throwing shit in my yard. Then again, man, maybe there's just the world is going crazy. Yesterday, a woman drove by on a scooter yelling, "Kill the nigger. Black lives don't matter." Like, repeating that. And as I'm like, what? I mean, so hopefully this is just the splinters deep inside coming out so that they can be healed. I need to maybe calm myself down. I would say walk around the block, but I'm not sure I really want to run into him. But you know what? I'm not living that way. Maybe I'm going to walk around the block. I don't want him to think I'm stalking him and like chasing him, but I am not going to adjust my life. And I look forward to another opportunity to grow and heal and listen. I'm going to be back at 1 o'clock for a live broadcast talking about some of the what I learned during. I did a poll about mask wearing over the weekend and was fascinated by the people's impressions of, and how there was so many differences in what proper etiquette and safe procedures were. So I'm talking about that at 1. And at noon, very much looking forward to the daily gratitude circle. So join me here at 1 on my stream, or at noon at zoom.hugnation.com if you want to share some gratitude. And, if nothing else, I'm grateful that the shit that he threw at me was in a bag. So, yay. Reframing. Gratitude.